Welcome. I'm Debbie House, editor of Retail Touchpoints, and I'm here with Anthony Qaiyum at Merz Apothecary, and you're the president, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk a little bit today about your business and the products and the technology solutions that you're using, that kind of thing.
Sure.
So first, can you just fill us in for those of us who aren't that familiar with your company? Can you fill us in on the history of the company and then the different kinds of sales channels that you've been using and picking up on over the years?
Sure. So Merz Apothecary was founded in Chicago in 1875. So we're 140 years old this year. And we're a pharmacy technically, but we're not a typical pharmacy because we specialize in hard to find health, personal care, natural health, cosmetics, shaving, fragrance from around the world. I'm the 5th generation owner. My dad bought it from the Merz family in the 1970s, and I took over. And he took what was a small retail business and kind of a mail order business that had fizzled out, and he revived the mail order business. And then I got involved in a web startup, and I kept telling my dad, I mean, this is a really unique place. So people come, it's not everyone knows about us, but those who do come from all over the country and sometimes all over the world. And so I kept saying, someone should do a website based on Merz and what we do. And he kept saying, well, why not you? So at some point I just realized I wanted to start the web portion of this business. So we started as a separate company and realized at some point that made much more sense to be a multi-channel or omni-channel retailer. That term wasn't around at the time, but
and it is now.
It is now. But we do stores, we do phone and catalog business, mail, and then internet sales, Amazon sales. So we cover a lot of channels.
And your e-commerce site is called Smallflower.
Smallflower.com. Yeah, part of that is no one could spell Merz or Merz, no one could spell apothecary, and we just thought it made sense to do something. We weren't going to spend the rest of our lives spelling it out for people or trying to get people to remember how to spell it. So.
Absolutely, makes sense.
Yeah.
So we're in the store, and there are a lot of products in here. How many SKUs of items do you have?
Somewhere over 14,000 now. I haven't counted as of today, but it fluctuates on a daily basis.
Yeah. Unique products, so you probably have a number of different types of suppliers of your products. How do you manage all the relationships with those different companies?
What we do in general is just trying to keep track of everything and find new suppliers. So I don't know if there's one way, but part of it is when you have a family business that loves products, it's not like widgets to us where it's just whoever sells it to us. So we spend many years, and that's part of the 140 years of tradition that we bring into this, is the cultivating of relationships with brands.
So are there any specific technology solutions that you use in order to manage, all of the business processes and the inventory and the suppliers?
Yeah, I think Celerant is our main point of sale system. So that covers everything, and it's more than point of sale. I mean, it covers our purchasing, it's our mail order management software. So almost everything we do centers around Celerant. So we're able to buy our products, receive them, sell them on the floor, sell them at retail, send them out across the country through multiple carriers, and choose the best carrier based on weight and zip code and everything like that. So that's all set up, and that manages our e-commerce platform. And then we build other tools around that, for various needs. So.
And are you accessing any specific kinds of reports from the system during the year?
Yeah, we have a product called data warehousing, which is a pretty powerful database that allows us to look at almost anything about our sales across any dimension. And that's more for in-depth research. And then there's a lot of reports, some of which we built ourselves using their report builder to analyze sales in comparison to past periods. And we're able to, based on seasonality, decide whether we want to just go against recent periods, against last year, going forward when we're hitting the holidays. We're able to look throughout the holidays and accurately count down the days to the holidays, so we're not over ordering, but hopefully not under ordering too, and analyzing trends for the year. So if we know we're 20% up, we can kind of look at last holiday and
So are there any specific benefits that you've seen from using that kind of system that you can share with us?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's hard to, the most obvious benefit to me as someone who is really e-commerce focused, but also loves our stores, and the stores are at the heart of what we do. It's just the idea that we're no longer trying to integrate multiple systems and hope that they work and talk to each other. So everything is much simpler. You know, like my buyer is not wondering what's going on at the website or how much stuff we sent to Amazon. And then the guys in the back, as they're shipping, they're not sort of having to do anything to make sure the inventory gets taken out or to even choose. They don't even have to think about what carrier to choose based on what weight. Everything is done automatically, and that just created so much efficiency for us, you know.
All right. So, so you had an experience a few years back where Oprah Winfrey chose one of your products as one of her favorite things. How did that impact the business, and
Yeah.
how have you been able to, you know, what did you learn from that?
Well, we oversold that happened over the weekend. I think that it dropped, or we didn't hear about it until, you know, we got back from a weekend, and we had oversold a ton of product. And I mean, that's not a good, it sounds good, but it's not a good situation to have when you can't, the whole country was then sold out. So we had to apologize to people. There were a lot of people who were angry. It was a bad lesson to learn. But, you know, maybe it was far enough ago that I think it taught us a lot about what we wanted. So I think the goal was to have real-time inventory levels across all channels.
And you've added a mobile site.
We have.
And how long ago did you launch the mobile site?
About a month and a half ago.
Okay. So what was the process in putting that together?
You know, we worked with Celerant, who's our web provider, to use their existing mobile platform, and then we kind of looked at what they could do and looked at how the way we like to organize our site and kind of pushed them to make the search and filter and the search by certain criteria much better. Right. But ultimately, it was a matter of doing that, and then just we went through each of the pages and just sort of improved the design, I would say, of the standard pages. And then, you know, it was a matter of really launching it, just making sure, doing a lot of bug testing, obviously, but getting it going, and it immediately showed us some great effects, so that was nice.
So it was a successful launch.
Yeah, I would say our web orders on our Google Analytics, our orders done through mobile went up dramatically the first week that we launched. It was like a huge percentage increase, so that was really fun.
Okay. So you have an experience in developing a website. I mean, you're pretty experienced in SEO. Mm-hmm. What kind of advice do you have? You know, how have you been successful in maintaining, you know, good rankings on the web?
You know, at first I would say it was the luck of being early, but then we had to learn over time what some of the best practices. And honestly, when you're a small retailer, I'd lie if I said we're always on top of SEO. It tends to go in waves where you find yourself in a good position and then you realize other people are catching up, and we go and learn what we can. And now I've brought in a partner organization specifically based on SEO because I realized it was getting more complicated with all these algorithm changes. It's more than someone like me can keep up with. Yeah. So they're making recommendations, and then we sort of go through them and make sure that they make sense from a human content standpoint, if that makes sense. You know.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us and welcoming us into your store.
Thank you.
And thanks to all of you for joining us as well. Have a great day.